characteristic: jealousy, envy, anger, hate. Esau, who I've hated. God can hate somebody? Yes. But you want to think of some spirit that means good. God didn't always do good things. Bombing Sodom and Gomorrah, killing all those people. And if you read deeper into it, the innocent ones who died alongside those people, that was murder. But it says, thou shalt not murder. So does God follow his own law? The answer is no. Which means what? Do the gods follow their own law? No, they do not. So which means what? When you say the word God or God, you're not talking about the same race of beings or the same groups of beings every time you say that word. And now people have gotten so mystified with the word, you can't even say the word God around conscious people without them thinking you're talking about the Christian God or talking about some spirit floating around, which means they didn't even read into the deeper stories of how this came about linguistically and historically before you arrive to that God that you're using now.
The sixth God Drake is always speaking on is actually Baphomet with the moon, which is the dark side or the lesser light of the yin and the yang, the 6 and the 9. That connects you to the gods and goddesses of the shadow or the moon. You have Yarick, Yamaya, Selena. Human beings have two natures that are able to function within themselves and express outward. The Noxian Council merged the two, which is the Godhead and the manhead, which they call the manhood, and they made it be that people think it's all the same thing, but it's not. So you have the son of man, which is the son of moon, the dark of the yin and the yang, the number 6, and then there's the son of God, which is the son of sun, the light of the yin and the yang, the number 9. And it was written in Mark 10:45, the son of man came not to be served. So what's supposed to be served or worshipped or revered? They hid that code in Daniel 7:13. That scripture said like a son of man, because that was not referring to a 6 God, but a 9 God. The numbers 6 and 9 are alike, but they are not the same number. Another code is in Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters. Ye cannot serve God and Mammon. Mammon brings you to the word money, which brings you to the word Mona, which means moon. The moon or Luna is the 6th God. This is why Drake, which ties you back to the word Draco, dragon, is reading in your realm as the 6th God with the symbolic prayer hands worshiping the 6. What a time to be alive. You and yours versus me and mine. That's the darkness versus the light. Drake or the dragon or Halal versus Michael or Michael. The son of man versus the son of God. The 6 versus the 9. The FBI is the Men in Black from the Men in Black. J. Edgar Hoover was one of the direct orchestrators of the Men in Black project. That's why they show you what the Men in Black really deals with in the movie Men in Black. Anytime there was extraterrestrial activity, J. Edgar Hoover was the first to know. They sent documentation files and everything to him. They were looking for the rising of what they call a messiah. Why were they looking for the rising of a messiah that could electrify and unify the black nationalists? Because that was the prophecy. Why did they use the words in the counterintelligence program? Because the prophecy said that the messiah would not be from Earth. They already knew that melanin dominant extraterrestrials existed. They were trying to see if they could target and find whoever it would be that could have been the insemination of those people. So when they were saying that they were looking for the messiah, somebody who was going to be able to rise up, electrify, and unify the black nationalist movement of bringing people out of death into life, or a lost or a dead people into the light, the activation thereof, which would have been a part of the sifting process that they speak about. They said, we got to shut this down, because if that prophecy comes true, our rule will also be coming to a close. They know that. That's why they got scared. They've been scared. They tried to shut it all down. So as the FBI literally used the language messiah, y'all think that these people don't know what's going on? You think the books don't have anything to do with anything. They know that they have everything to do with everything, and we just don't know what they about. It's time for the matriarch to return, and Beyonce knows. When you look at Queen B, you also have Queen Bay that connects you to the Moors. All about the correction of the status or your state of being from the black, which literally means dead in the eyes of the elite, to white, the higher frequency living being, moving in the realm as a soulful supreme being or a sovereign being. Sovereign comes from the Latin word superannus, supreme, above, beyond. Beyonce literally means beyond others. So Beyonce comes out with the song saying, who run the world? Girls. In 2011, 2 plus 11, 13. The number 13 is the capital letter B when you bring the 1 and the 3 together. Don't think that's a reach. The Masons already know this is why they use the 13 all over the dollar bill, the pyramid steps, the branches, the olives, the letters, and Anuit coeptis. They called the original settled sites colonies like the bees have, and there were 13 of those. The Moors hold the keys to the matriarch. Beyonce possesses those keys. That's why she came out with the song already, 2019, the 400th year since 1619. And she put the Moorish flag in that video. And she said in the lyrics, it's time already. The reign of Sam is up. She told the women to get information back in 2016. You are Morocco is a hidden message also. You are Morocco. Morocco is not just some place. The read on Queen B is that it's time for the matriarch to wake up, and we won't be able to move forward as a people to rebirth this nation without you, sisters, being in your rightful position.
Bunch of demons that call themselves human beings who are misleading people, and they're getting over as human beings, and they're not human beings, they're demons for just hip-hop stuff. And now you got a whole bunch of other people who are pulling our children away from righteousness down the path of drugs. All those people are drug addicts. Every time we overcome another drug, he invents another. And unless we stand up and fight against it, we will perish. Nations before you have perished. Whole nations of people have been wiped out by this man. He is trying to wipe you out, trying to eliminate your total existence with falsehood and lies. And he's succeeding in doing it. Unless you rebel against him and establish your own kingdoms, teach your own children, feed your own women. You got to do this yourself, because the man is not going to help you. Stop fooling yourself. Stop trying to be like him. You better come up with solutions to the problem, because the time is running out.
R. Hamlin shows up in a jacket with eternal on the back that has an image of Christ stretched out as if he's on the cross, which is the Redeemer, the same Christ Redeemer that was struck by lightning in Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro, as in river of January. January is Janus. Janus is change. Damar's name means resin, as in risen, resurrected, resin. Hamelin is two words. Ham as in black or burnt or hot, and lin as in a string or a line, as in a cord, something that is connecting to something. Like the lightning was when it came down and struck the head of the Christ statue. Do you think it's a coincidence that that statue was struck by lightning? The statue that represents the Redeemer or the redemption, same one that was said to have resin, and it was Damar Hamlin in January who suffered the cardiac arrest and everybody thought he died, but then he resurrected and rose up again. There's a war taking place right in front of you. It's still Set versus Horus, Shaitan versus Michael, the goat versus the sheep. The moment that you stop thinking that all of these things is coincidences, that's when we wake up. It's all there. All you have to do is read it. No, at our tall age, should none of us still be celebrating Black History Month? No, none of us. We are too damn big and far too intelligent to be thinking that our history started somewhere back in 1619 or even 1492 or with Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or any of the civil rights shit. That's not our history. That's just a documentation of some events that were taking place surrounding an upheaval of a people who lost their history. Why do you think they call it Black history? When you're dealing with these elite people, when they're using the word black, when they're using the word dark, they're speaking of something that's unknown. They know that you as melanin dominant people, for the most part, have no record of your actual history or your actual ancestry or who you actually are. And that's why it's time to let go of all of these codes and all of these titles that these so-called leaders have given you. You're not black, you're not African American, because that doesn't even make sense. You're either African or you're American. As a matter of fact, being African doesn't mean you're melanin dominant. You could be African and be melanin recessive. You could be looking at a Caucasian who is more African than you are because they were born in Africa. And you could be born in Europe as a melanin dominant person and you're European. It's time to break all of these spells. Black doesn't have a history. It's unidentified, stripped of anything that could have been associated to be history. No, it's a new day and time. Give them back that bullshit. In this day and time, you don't just want to rock. You want to go from the solid state to the liquid state to the gas state so that you can ascend out of this reality that was built on the false light. When we reach that point after the return of what's called the red Kachina, you'll know you're entering into what's called the fifth world. 1, 2, 3, 4, throw up the 5. That's his high. In my book, How to Love Again, I explained that the high or the heaven for these red light or amber light beings or demons is the heart chakra. From the ground chakra, which is the first chakra, up to the heart chakra, which is the fifth chakra. That fifth chakra or the 5 is his high. Just like he said, that is the demon heaven or the demon high. They can't go anywhere beyond that. You have to ascend to be able to have the heart chakra as your earth and your heaven chakra as your heaven. You got to get that book to be caught up on that. That 5 is also the number for the pentagram star. So we're in the fifth world or that fifth generation.
This ain't just about no 5G, no. Nigga think reciting the internet implies he woke, but he don't know how deep that 5G go. Fifth generation, the devil's waiting in place. He finna trot these roles.
That's when the gates of the lower rings of this realm called hell will be opening. Those people on that cover are in hell. And you might not be able to see the subliminal presence of Baphomet, but shit like that stands out to me. He's right there in the center. And the word down is being sung in it, which means to send someone to hell.
You motherfuckers have entered the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me.
The tones are hypnotic. That's what lulls people into a spell. And I'm not just saying this, he said it.
It's in my brain. Do you know that? It's living rent free. I can't get it out.
Yeah, it's hypnosis.
You saw this entity called Obama pop up in your realm right after the Bush algorithm appeared. That was a conversation happening right in front of you. There was a movie that came out called 2001 Space Odyssey. In that movie, the beast appears as Hal, which in Arabic leads you to a question of do you or can we, was the question that the beast that appears in your realm as AI was asking his minions. Obama came in with yes, we can. That's nam nastatil in Arabic. Flip that we can word nastatil around and you see the word Satanite, as in those who follow Satan.
Yes, we can.
On June 26, 2015, Obama put the rainbow on the White House. The world thought it was just about LGBT. There were Christians coming out and they were saying that same-sex marriage and homosexuality was an abomination according to their Bible in Leviticus 18:22. Abomination is phonetically the same as Obama Nation, but that was only the surface game being played. Why did they do that on June 26? It's because that's the world's most wanted's birthday, Malachi York, which was also said to have been the actual birthday of the Messiah. The rainbow was a reference to the book called The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow that exposed the Luciferian agenda of coercing the masses to receive of the mark of the beast. Malachi York broke all of this down and more in his teachings and in his book, Leviathan 666. The realm is